Welcome to class. Today's practice is focusing on yoga for overstimulation. So it's a time to breathe deep and do a full body yoga flow aimed at relieving our nervous system. Now, before we get started, let me tell you how to move closer to us online. Make sure you're subscribed right here on our YouTube channel, that you're subscribed to our Sunday weekly letter full of amazing educational resources, and that you're following us on Facebook and Instagram. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's begin in a child's pose. So join me on your knees. Take your big toes together at the same place on each toe, and then take the knees as wide apart as is comfortable. You can shimmy the hips a little bit here, and always feel free to add some padding, some blankets or pillows underneath your ankles or behind your knees for more support. And then feel your tailbone ground towards the heels as you walk your spine forward and place your head down on the floor. If any part of this position is uncomfortable, do a series of small trial and errors until you find something that's more comfortable, whether that means adjusting your legs or your arms. Anything in service of allowing our tension to spread out nice and wide so that there's nothing that we're trying to hold on to. Keep your tailbone grounding towards your heels, and if you'd like, you can add a side bend in. So lift up through your heart, your head a little bit, and then walk your torso over to the right so that you're draping over your right thigh. And in your own time, walk yourself back through center and then over to the left. And back through center. Ground down through your knees and hands and lift up to tabletop position. So wrists are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath hips. And you can take a few moments to move around organically here, breathing, letting the eyes settle, their focus softens. See if you can get your vision to be less grippy, so as your head moves around in space, the vision's not trying to latch onto anything that it's seeing. From a nice tabletop position, keep your jaw soft, your tongue soft in your mouth, tuck your toes and hover the knees off the floor, press out through your fingers, and be calm. In downward facing dog pose in your own time, hips high. You don't ever need to take this pose either. You can always go back to tabletop or child's pose and work from there. Don't feel beholden to any rules here. Feel free to bend your knees in service of getting your spine long, tailbone to crown. Getting your rib cage full on all sides. Getting your legs working evenly through the inner and outer seam of the leg. And you'll see that when everything's working cohesively together, that you can actually send your attention evenly into each space in your body. So do that and feel your entire body fill up with attention. However you like to make the way so that the feet and hands come together. You can walk the feet forward or walk the hands back or do a combo. And a standing forward fold pose is where we'll meet, where if you are tighter, more restricted in the back of the legs or the back, you might take the feet nice and wide and anchor the toes in. Anything in service of getting the belly and the thighs closer together, so getting our hips to flex. The next inhale breath, wave your abdomen up to your spine and out through your skull. And we'll each find our own halfway lift. That'll be a different height and space for each one of us, or maybe even over the course of your practice, you'll see that your height changes. Take a 3-dimensional breath into your torso. And on your exhale, fold. Ground through your strong feet. Inhale, wave out and up to the sky. And exhale, ground the hands at the heart. Take the feet down underneath the pelvis. Soften a bend into the knees to ensure that they're pointing straight ahead. Take your heeled bone down into the floor and pick the ball mounds of your feet up one at a time and stretch them forward like you're trying to take up more of your mat. Then press down through the triangle bony mass of the feet evenly. Ride that energy up through the ankles, the knees, the thighs, into the pelvis. Full 3-dimensional rib cage so that the ribs are knitting in to the sternum on the front and they stay open on the back. So each inhale you inflate the whole space. Next breath in, reach the arms up. You can look up if you like. And exhale, hands down at the heart. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. And on your exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, ground the hands. Step the feet back one at a time, downward facing dog. Wave forward until you're in plank, shoulders over wrists, heels over ankles. You can kind of wave a little bit here or almost like shake out my shoulder blades a little bit here so that I can feel them on the back. Let's lower the knees down to the floor for this first one. Let's lean the heart forward of the fingernails so that the legs are in a nice diagonal with the torso. Take a big breath in. And exhale, bend your elbows, lower halfway. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Exhale, down. This time down. All the way. Just take it easy here. Take a break. You can take your forehead down or wave out through your feet or just anything. Squeeze your legs into your hips one at a time. Anchor the tailbone towards the backs of the ankles. Flare out through your toenails and root all of them down. Then let's tent the fingers outside of the shoulders, outside of the yoga mat even, and use the next few inhale breaths to wave the spine into a baby cobra on the inhale and release on the exhale. Just using the back muscles and seeing if we can't feel the spine as a 3-dimensional unit working evenly. So the fronts of the discs and the backs of the discs working evenly, getting nice and long, even through the backs. The next time we're lifted, can you lift your fingertips, slide them back now underneath your elbows. Take your arms into their sockets as best you can at the shoulder joint. Keep the tailbone moving towards the backs of the heels. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, root down and come on up to a low or a high cobra. And on your exhale, pull the pelvis up and back for downward facing dog. Take a big breath in to prepare to come forward with your feet. And then exhale, step or hop through. On your inhale breath, lift out of the pose halfway. And on the exhale, fold. Ground down through your feet. Inhale, raise out and up to the sky. Reach up. And exhale, hands together at the heart. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And this time, let's take the feet a little bit wider, anchor the heels in and the toes out, and use the legs evenly as we start to squat the hips down towards the backs of the heels. If your heels lift, you got some options. You can sit your booty up on a yoga block or take some towel, roll it up and put it underneath your heels. Nestle the hands together at the chest. Start to work the legs evenly from the feet up the inner and outer seams of the legs to the knees and then down towards the groin. Press into your hands and move your chest forward through your armpits. Sprinkle the fingertips down. Ground into the feet, and again, the attention is on using the legs evenly, the effort of them, to start lifting the hips, anchoring the toes forward, and softening a bend into both knees, and aligning the spine out from the pelvis. Take a full breath in to your three-dimensional torso, and on your exhale, lift your left heel to your bottom. Take a big breath in, level off your body. And exhale, stretch your left foot to the back of the yoga mat. You can nestle it back there if you want more length, as we set the left knee down for low lunge on the right. Take a few moments to allow your pelvis and your whole body to settle, to send your attention evenly into every little bit. Level off the pelvis between your two legs. See to it that the inner and outer seam of each leg are evenly long, and then from your hips to your armpits is evenly long on the trunk. If it makes sense to ground down through your grounding points and upright the torso, we can move there. We can feel the hips and level them off between the legs. And then we can ensure that the torso is lifting from the left knee, pressing down. So all of that good energy, taking the ribs back, and then the triceps lifting to the sky, waving out through the fingers. Breathe into your three-dimensional torso, and any depth that we create here is coming from the right leg, but not from the lifted torso. That movement goes away from it. Take another breath in. And exhale, come out, down and forward. Ground your hands, tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, and then gently step back, downward facing. Take an inhale to come forward to plank. Spend an extra moment here. And we're just gonna do very baby little chaturangas with the knees lifted if you want, or down if you don't. So exhale just a few inches, and inhale, press up. Exhale just a few inches, and inhale up. Exhale just a few inches, lower the knees, the pelvis, and the chest. Relax. Okay, let's take the forearms down, elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms parallel, fingers spread wide. Take a big breath in to unite the pelvis through the skull. On your exhale breath, round the spine so that the pelvis comes off the floor, chin into the chest. Inhale, settle the pelvis down, stretch forward. Exhale, squeeze in. Last one, inhale forward, and exhale in. Soften the pelvis, soften the arms, slide the hands back, Fingers, hands underneath the elbows. Gather your legs so they're really strong. Kneecaps are lifting. They're actually the ones that hold the pelvis in place with the glutes. So you keep all of that good energy. Breathe from the front of the pelvis as you start to wave the spine upward to a cobra, to an upward facing dog. And then exhale, pelvis up and back, downward facing dog. Few breaths. Use your next inhale breath to look forward, prepare to come forward, and exhale to step, walk, or hop all the way to the very top of the mat. On the inhale breath, lift and wave out of the pelvis halfway. And on the exhale breath, forward fold. Ground your feet. Inhale, reach all the way out and up to the sky. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. And on the exhale, as we fold, we take the feet a little bit wider than the hips again. Heels in, toes open. Use the legs evenly as we settle the hips down towards the yogi squat position. By the way, if you ever hear pops in your joints or anything like that, as long as it's not creating pain, it usually doesn't indicate anything worrisome. Sprinkle the fingers down. Use your legs evenly again as we start to lift the hips, orient the legs forward, bend the knees evenly, unite the torso from the pelvis out through the skull, and then keep everything where it is as you lift the right heel to the right bottom, and then stretch it to the back of the mat. Soften the right knee down to the floor for a low lunge, and then take a few moments to gather your attention in your body, your understanding of your body in space. Be continuously open to new ways of moving, to new ways of setting the joints, which will help us experience our body in different ways. And of course, if you want, ground down through your grounding points and upright the torso here. And from this upright, feel the pelvis again. That didn't feel quite right. There it goes. And then we know that the lift of the chest and of the arms is an extension of the back leg. When you're ready, take the chest out, down, and forward, ground the hands, tuck the right toes under, and then step the left foot back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, take your time, roll forward to high plank position, top of a push-up here. You can lower the knees down if you like, and we're just gonna do one. So however you like to get down to the floor, bend your elbows, come on down. Take your legs together, roll them in so the kneecaps are trying to kiss each other. Then take the tailbone to the backs of the knees again. That's by way of the glutes. So the glutes holding the pelvis down. Take your forehead down to the floor. Hands by the side, pinkies facing the sky. Now keeping your pelvis on the floor exactly like this. We're not going to try to tilt the pelvis at all. We're just going to lift the right leg up off the ground as much as it'll go. Keep the pelvis in the same relationship. Pick the left leg up off the ground. Then, instead of taking them more upward to the sky, take them back. Take them back, keep the pelvis like this, but can you lift the legs a little bit higher?
And now, can you breathe into your back ribs so that you can actually feel them inflate to the ceiling? Now keep the ribs inflating to the ceiling like a beach ball, and then lift the chest up off the floor and the hands back in space. Lengthen the skull forward. Take your legs down, but keep them this strong, spread out through the pinky toes. They keep the same effort and energy because what they're doing is they're taking the tailbone down. They're using their strength to pull the tailbone down, and that makes the pelvis go away from the shoulders, which gets lots of space in the low back. So we want to keep the pelvis going away from the shoulders as we press into the hands, pull the front body in, and come on up to cobra or upward facing dog. From here, knees down, pull the pelvis back in space towards a child's pose if that feels good, or something else if it doesn't. Let's cool down. Come forward to hands and knees pose, tabletop. We'll do a short twisting sequence before Shavasana. We'll do it from hands and knees. So from here, keep your left hand grounded. Inhale, open the right hand to the sky. Find vertical length out from the pelvis to the skull, and then exhale, bring the right hand down. Inhale, open the left hand to the sky. Same thing, an extra moment here to find vertical length from the hips to the armpits. And then exhale down. Take the right hand by the right ear. Same thing, breathe vertical length here on the inhale, and then twist up to the right. Another full round of breath. And then take the heart to face the floor and release the right hand. Left hand to left ear. Twist open to the left. Vertical length. And then a heart to face the ground and left hand down. One more, hand to the heart, the right hand to the heart. Take an inhale, breathe your length, and then revolve. An extra breath. And heart down and hand down. Okay, left hand to heart. Open up. Heart down, hand down. Let's go ahead and from here, let's come to a Baddha Konasana. So come to a seat. We'll take a diamond shape with the feet. So pelvis on the ground. If you feel like you're being pulled towards the back, then just lay down in this pose. That's perfectly fine. So with soles of the feet together, knees wide. If you're upright, you can stay and pull up on the inhale. And if you're folding, you can use the exhale breath to take the heart towards the toes. We're not going for depth in this pose. We're going for connected attention, attention that connects in through all crevices of the body. And if you're folding forward, it's a good opportunity to close the eyes, to feel the front of the body close in on itself, kind of get a little cave-like. And this kind of takes us into a Shavasana. So from here, if you're folded, come to upright. If you're on your back, then do your best to flip over onto your belly, because that's where we'll meet. So come on forward to hands and knees. Come all the way down to the belly. And here we'll rest. We'll do a crocodile's pose today for Shavasana. So you can take your legs as wide as you like. And you can figure out, do you like them neutrally rotated? That feels really good for me. You can also externally rotate them with the toes kind of pointing and resting outward. So find a leg position that feels good, tailbone tucking to the backs of the heels, and then stack one hand over the other as a pillow and a rest for your forehead. Position the body so that the skeleton has a lot of space. So space for the spine, space for the legs. You're looking for natural joint positioning, where the joints aren't stretched, but they're not compressed either. And in this natural joint positioning, then we relax. And we'll actually take a breathing exercise here where we'll lengthen the exhale more than the inhale. And that will assist and aid us in sort of a cleansing, sounds like a kind of a woo-woo word, but I'll use it here, kind of like a cleansing process. So slowing down the nervous system, relieving our system of too much stimulation. So start with a neutral cycle and round of breath where you breathe a full breath in through the nose and then release out through the mouth. Seal the lips. Let's breathe in through the nose for 3, 2, 1. Pause. Breathe out through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Pause. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go on your own if you like, or drop the breathing pattern altogether. If you have a few more minutes that you'd like to spend here, it's all good with me. I hope you have a wonderful class and a wonderful day. Thanks so much for joining.